Shavua Tov, everyone. Welcome to Till's Tell Stories for Saturday night. The title of this week's video is The Kabbalah of Saying Amen. I adopted it from an article by Rabbi Daniel Travis on Torah.org and supplemented it from the out-of-print book Let Us Say Amen and the book Just One Word, Halachas of Amen. In 1605, at age 75, Rabbi Mordechai Yaffe, referred to as the Levush, was offered the position of chief rabbi in the important Jewish community of Posen, which he accepted on a single condition. Before starting his post, he declared he would travel to Italy and study the Torah of Iber Chodesh, that is, the knowledge of the lunar cycles, the knowledge of the lunar cycle necessary for understanding the complex laws of calculating the beginning of each Jewish month and each Jewish new moon, and the establishment of leap years according to the Jewish calendar. And he would do so under the tutelage of the great Sephardic sage Rabbi Yitzchak Abuhav in Venice. Rabbi Mordechai Yaffe was one of the foremost rabbis and Jewish leaders in Central Europe in his generation. An expert in Talmud, Jewish law, and Kabbalah, and also in mathematics, astronomy, and other sciences, he headed the yeshiva in Prague, where he was born until 1561, when the Jews were expelled from Bohemia. He was known as the Levush because he wrote 10 books, which he called by the general name of Levushim, which means garments, and each one had the word Levush in its title, including one about the laws of Rosh Chodesh, sanctifying the new moon. He passed away in 1612 at age 82. Rabbi Yitzchak Abuhav III, born in 1520 of Venice, was a noted authority on Jewish law and author of commentaries on the Torah. Not to be confused with 15th century Rabbi Yitzchak Abuhav II of Spain, after whom the famous synagogue in Sfat is named and who is his grandfather, nor with the latter's great-great-grandfather, the 13th century Rabbi Abuhav Yitzchak I, author of Menorah HaMaor, a well-known and important book. The Levush spent 3 months in Venice until he mastered the subject. Towards the end of his stay, he happened to be in the house of his teacher when a child made a blessing on a fruit. Everyone answered Amen, with the exception of the Levush, who unintentionally neglected to respond. The Abuhav rebuked him strongly for this opinion and declared a nidui, a personal excommunication, against Rabbi Yaffe. For 30 days, the Levush remained isolated from the rest of the Jewish community, while the ban remained in force. At the end of the period, he went to Rabbi Yitzchak Abuhav to ask him to remove the ban. He also requested to know why his oversight had merited such a harsh punishment, as this was difficult for him to understand. The Abuhav said that at the moment he had not answered Amen to the child's blessing, a heavenly death sentence was issued against him. However, the 30-day ban had weakened the decree, and it could be completely overturned if the Levush and his descendants would undertake to teach the importance of responding Amen to all blessings. And specifically, you Ashkenazim tend to be too negligent in this matter, he added wryly. He instructed the Levush that when speaking about Amen, he should relate the following incident, which highlights the life or death power of the Amen response. Once there was a king who despised the Jews and was always looking for an excuse to banish them from his kingdom. There was only one thing that prevented him from doing so. In his kingdom was one pious Jew whom he liked and respected. This man was always successful in persuading the king to refrain from carrying out his anti-Semitic wishes. On one occasion, the king was especially angry at the Jews, but once again the pious Jew subdued his wrath. A priest was present in the court at the time, and he proceeded to give the king a lengthy blessing in Latin. When he finished, everyone answered Amen, with the exception of the Jew, who was in the middle of reciting Mincha, and anyway, not knowing Latin, did not understand what had been said. The priest was furious, and said that because the Jew had not answered Amen, the blessing would not come to fruition. The king's love of the Jew suddenly turned to hate, and he sentenced him to death on the spot. Sometime after his brutal execution, The pious Jew visited a surviving acquaintance in a dream and explained what he had done to merit such a drastic end. A child had once made a blessing on bread in his presence, and he had not answered Amen. As a result, a heavenly decree of death was decreed upon him, and he had been held off until the incident with the king. After the Abuhav annulled the ban against him, Rabbi Yaffe took upon himself to teach the importance of saying Amen for the rest of his life. Once a month, he would fully recount the above incident, and also often spoke about the critical importance of responding to a blessing with Amen. Indeed, amazingly, until this day, the descendants of the Levush continue to bear the responsibility to tell this story. Saturday night, I personally heard one of them do so at a Saturday night Melava Malka gathering and meal in Los Angeles in 2020. An excellent post-Shabbat activity, Melava Malka. I highly recommend it. A prime time for telling stories. Shavua Tov.